Robber threatens to kill me.
It's about 8 p.m. and I'm relaxing in my room, enjoying how still the house is because no one else is home besides me. It's dark out this time of year, and the only light in my room is from my computer screen and the moon. My window is open and the temperature is really nice. The only sound I hear outside is insects. I start playing video games and put my headphones on because I don't have good speakers. I'm playing for about 10 minutes when I see a light come into my room like someone opened my door. I turn around and see a man standing in my doorway. He's acting like he came into the wrong room and shuts my door again quickly. I don't think anything suspicious right away because one of my roommates, Greg, has the room directly across from mine. I figure one of his friends came home with him and just got the wrong room by mistake. I look at the clock and realize neither of them should be home for at least an hour. Greg is out for a religious thing and my other roommate, Caleb, is at work delivering pizzas. So I start freaking out. I'm not sure if I should go investigate or call the police. Maybe I'm wrong about what time Greg is supposed to get home. I decide to go out and investigate. I slowly walk to the top of the stairs and lean over to look down into my living room, trying to keep out of sight. This man is downstairs trying to take Caleb's laptop, which is on our coffee table. I'm not sure why, but my fear at that moment turns into anger. I'm furious enough that I want to run downstairs and fight this guy, although my mind is yelling at me, he could be armed, you could die. At that moment, I hear him kind of loudly whisper, "Don't try to come down here, or I'll kill you." This threat brings my fear back, but also elevates my anger. I'm paralyzed for what seems like forever, but is really just a few seconds. I'm a nerdy white dude with no training, so what I can only describe as instinct and adrenaline kicked in. It's kinda dark, but with some light coming in from the kitchen, I can see well enough. He has nothing in his hands except Caleb's laptop. I then look at his waistband for anything like a weapon and don't see anything. In fact, his pants are almost falling off him. I know I can get down the stairs in a few seconds, and since he was busy with the laptop, I just rush him. I run down the stairs full speed yelling, "Get the fuck out of my house!" And he bolts for the front door. When he tries to open it, he pulls on it in a panic, but it's deadbolted. He pulls on it so hard it bends the latch. At this point, I'm maybe 3 feet from him. He manages to get the door unlocked before I get to him, and he runs out into the night. I'm still intent on chasing him, but as I get to my front steps, my rational mind kicks in and tells me, "Don't do it. He's gone. Call the cops." So I look through the house to make sure no one else is there. I go into Caleb's basement room, and on my way back up, I see everything sitting on the kitchen sink is knocked over. You should know at this point the lock on the window above the kitchen sink is broken, and that's how he got in. We had been telling our landlord for weeks that it needed to be fixed, and they had done nothing about it. This window above the sink is only about 1 foot tall and 2 feet wide, and about 5 feet off the ground, so he must have struggled to get in. I don't see anyone, so I finally call the cops. It takes them about 10 minutes to get there, but by the time they do, I'm shaking uncontrollably. I don't know if it's just from coming down off the adrenaline or mild shock, but I cannot stop shaking. The cops seem legitimately concerned about me, asking if I am injured or anything. They worried about my safety first before anything else. After making sure I'm okay, they scanned the house too. No one is there. All he got away with was Caleb's laptop, but didn't even get the charging cable because he tried to rip it from the wall when I rushed him. The cops are here for about an hour, asking questions, and Greg gets home during all of this. They ask him some questions too before leaving. The landlord, when we tell him about all this, is really cool about it. He promptly fixed our window, reimbursed Caleb for his laptop, and mostly just felt bad they didn't fix the window in time to prevent this. It's been 8 years since then, and nothing like that has happened to me again, even though part of me wants it to because I miss the adrenaline rush. So, guy who broke into my house, I'd almost like to meet you again, but let's not.
Are you the lovely lady I just saw exiting the shower?
I'm a 21-year-old girl who lives alone. I exercise twice a day. I eat healthy. I get enough sleep and I take my vitamins. I like to think I'm smart. At least, I'm not a complete moron. I read books and I speak my mind and I write. But all it takes is one sentence to reduce me to a victim. Tonight I took a shower, like every other night. My bathroom is directly across the hall from my bedroom, so it takes half a second to step out of the shower, into my towel, and into my room. Towel hit the floor. I rummaged around for my nightie. I was exposed for maybe 30 seconds at the most. Another 30 seconds later, someone buzzed up to my flat. It was after midnight, so I ignored it. I live next door to a bar, and the drunks tend to play with the buttons on their way home. But the buzzer kept going, to the point where I wondered if it was a friend in trouble. I answered the intercom, but didn't unlock the front door. Hello? Hello. A very slurred English male voice. Are you the lovely lady I just saw exiting the shower? I didn't understand. I literally didn't comprehend what he was saying. So I said, "What?" He said in that confused way drunks sometimes talk. I just wanted to ask if you were the lovely lady who I saw through the window. Who the fuck is this? Something in my brain was telling me to panic, but I was too shocked to register it. You don't know me. My name is Thomas, and I would love to give your lovely body a massage. Please, please let me inside. I slammed the intercom phone back into the cradle, then halfway felt a strange mixture of claustrophobic and exposed. As the intercom buzzed again, I sprinted into my bedroom and dove beneath my duvet, door slamming shut behind me. I reach out from beneath the blankets to my window and manage to close the parted curtains entirely. After a minute, the intercom went silent. It took another minute for me to phone my parents, an entire country away, and then 5 more to phone the police. Unsurprisingly, they couldn't find him. That drunkard is probably sleeping off the alcohol right now in some plush hotel bed a couple streets away, memories mingling with dreams. I'm in bed, My front door chained and bedroom door locked. I love my flat. It's small and cozy, and half the walls are windows. I love the way the natural light pours through during the day, and at night I love watching the stars. Every curtain is shut right now. Every door is shut for added visual obstruction between rooms. I'm not scared. I'm angry. I'm angry that no matter what I accomplish, no matter who I am or what I've done, all a man, a stupid drunken oaf, needs to do is leer at my naked body through a window, and I am reduced to a powerless victim. He could have taken photos. He could have broken down the front door. He treated me like a creature at the petting zoo, and I hate him for that. Frequently asked questions. How did he know which flat you were in? There are 4 flats in my building, and my flat is the only one on my floor. It's a converted townhouse, hence the smallness. Close your blinds, dumbass. My flat faces a small back garden, accessible only by a little alleyway between my building and the bar. CCTV shows this guy stumbling into the garden for a piss, then hopping onto the garden wall to get back into the alleyway. When he got onto the wall, he stopped and pressed himself up against the building so he could peek through a slit in my bedroom window curtains. They're extremely thin and my lights were on, so he must have seen my silhouette. It's an old building. I'm a uni student. I have shitty curtains.
I'm glad we're moving.
I have lived in this house since I came home as a newborn, as did my mom before me. My son came home here, but I am happy we are leaving. The neighbors next door were wonderful when they first moved in. The husband worked with my husband and the wife stayed at home like me. It wasn't long before we started having coffee on Mondays, sitting in my yard watching my goats graze. I wouldn't say we were bosom buddies, but there was a friendship. So much, in fact, that I routinely pet sat while they were away. It wasn't long before I noted inconsistencies in stories of her past. 9 years my elder, she told me of her abusive family, whom she hadn't seen in many years and wouldn't know how to find them if she wanted. And the same week would show me photos her sister texted her of her niece she never met, except on occasions when she did. Some days, her childlessness was due to an overbearing mother having her tubes forcibly tied at 16. Other days, it was a medical condition. I ignored the red flags, assuming moving across the country had left her wanting for friends and prone to embellishment. I became pregnant, something my husband and I were ecstatic over, and that's when things changed. She would slip up and say things like, "When my son is born," or "I can't wait for you to meet my little boy." When pushed, she would say it was just a slip of the tongue. I distance myself as much as you can when your neighbor can see anytime you're outside. My son arrived late one February night, 6.9 pounds of pure perfection, but I might be biased. We didn't tell anyone except family, who did not know the neighbors. And since he was born on a weekend, my husband never informed his coworkers. We came home to gift bags, eerily soggy from rain, sitting on the steps. They felt wrong somehow, sullying the joy we felt. Inside was a card detailing the love she felt for our child and how she would always be watching him. It might have been hormones, but I felt sick. The next time we saw her, she was referring to herself as auntie and your sister. I am an only child, and the phrase crept up my spine like spiders. She yelled at my husband for not allowing her to take her baby to town to show her cousins. He was 3 days old. Since then, they have moved out of the house next door, but she has sat in the driveway watching to see if I come outside. Several nights in a row, our 2 dogs have barked, and I've gone outside to find our livestock has been let loose. 37 rabbits, 68 chickens and ducks, 23 goats, all loose. We have locks on the gates, but can't lock individual pens due to the setup. Game cameras haven't shown us anything except a figure in the rabbit barn. I think it's her trying to create enough chaos outside that both my husband and I have to tend to it, leaving our son sleeping inside. He and I have a rule. One of us has eyes on the baby at all times. If we're both busy, my mom sits with our son. We're currently trying to buy a house with more land, and I hope we get it so we can stop hiding in our own yard, since local PD doesn't think there's a problem. So, creepy neighbor, if we get the house, or even if we don't, let's not meet. Edit. She came back. We woke up about 2:30 a.m. to the sound of the door in the front rattling. We live in a 24-foot camper. Well, my son's bassinet is directly against that door because the door is broken and locked, and my son was nursing in bed with us anyway. My husband grabbed his Taurus Judge, a .45 revolver, for those of you who aren't aware, and started putting on his boots. Well, 2 windows on this thing were broken and are covered in bags to keep out the weather, and he said he saw an arm come through the window nearest to the bassinet, feeling around for something. What does he do? He eases up and whacks the crap out of this disembodied arm in the dark with a pry bar we had in the bathroom since we were replacing the shower. Once he got outside, I had called the cops, who took 38 minutes from my phone call to arrive. My mom lives next door and came outside when she heard my husband and neighbor's husband both yelling at neighbor. Apparently, he woke up to the sound of her car leaving and followed her, since he has been informed of the issues. I feel bad for the guy. He is completely browbeaten, and I think he has tried getting her help. He was crying, begging her to take her medication, which we didn't know she had. My mom took my son so I could talk to the cops. This woman actually tried to file assault charges on my husband and tried to explain how my son was hers, so she deserved visitation. I had to get my hospital discharge proving my son is mine and not adopted or stolen. He is my mini-me. The cops told her, "You're in a castle law state, have done this multiple times here, and you'd better be happy all he did was hit your arm because he was within his rights to shoot you through the door." But was she arrested? Nope. Cops told her husband to take her home. I wanted to file a restraining order, a no trespass order, anything. Nope. She wasn't being violent or destroying property, so evidently we can do something when she escalates it to the point where we're in danger, and then, half an hour after I call, they might do something. I guess that's why everyone says, if you want to get away with murder, move to this county. So today we're touring another house and hopefully making an offer. Update number 2. My husband said neighbor's hubby missed work a few days and came in obviously tired. From what he gathered, she has started referring to her pets as her children, not like fur babies, but literal human children, and randomly breaking down over her son being kidnapped. He tried to have her committed for evaluation at the nearest hospital with a psych ward, but she acted completely level and they assumed he was an abusive husband or something, attempting to make her seem unstable for one reason or another. He took all of the keys for the vehicles and stayed in a hotel. He told my husband it's all he can do to make sure she can't come here, and the cars are both in his name alone. She has apparently called the shop they work at multiple times, cussing out the front desk when they say her husband isn't accepting calls. He said they've had to move twice because she has gone off her meds and nobody helps. I feel really bad for them both. Mental illness is no joke, and I really hope she gets help. It concerns me that her husband is so concerned that he asked my husband if there was somewhere I could go with the baby, so I'm not home alone with him.